So let's look at some greatest common factors between two sets of terms, 6x cubed and 10x squared. Begin with the coefficient. What's the highest factor that goes evenly into 6 and evenly into 10 that you can think of? That would be a 2. 2 goes both into 6 and into 10. There's not a number higher than 2 that does that. So my greatest common factor of this one would include a 2. Now I look at the variable terms, x cubed and an x squared. Well, both of them have an x in it. Both of them have an x squared in it. Both do not have an x cubed in it. So it stops at x squared. So 2x squared is my greatest common factor between these two terms. Let's look at 15y to the 5th, 9y to the 4th, and 27y cubed. Out of those three terms, what's my greatest common factor? Well, I noticed that all these coefficients looks like they're divisible by 3. And so 3 goes into 15, 3 goes into 9, 3 goes into 27. Is there a number higher than that? Can't be an even number. Maybe 6. 6 is an even number. 9, nope. 3 is my greatest common factor between each of those terms. So I'd have a 3. Now I look at my variables. All terms include a y squared, and a y cubed. However, not all terms include a y to the 4th. So y cubed is part of my greatest common factor. So my greatest common factor is 3y cubed. Now why do I say y cubed again? Well, let's write this out is a way that maybe will make sense. This is a y times a y times a y times a y times a y, right? 9 times y times y times y times y. That's what y to the 4th means. And then 27y cubed means y times itself. So all of these share 3 y's. That's why 3 y's, or y cubed as our shorthand way of writing it, is part of our greatest common factor. The 15, 9, and a 7, another way to look at that, 15 is really a 3 times a 5, 9 is really a 3 times a 3, and 27 is really a 3 times a 9. All of those share a factor of 3. Last example we want to show you is x to the 5th, y cubed, x to the 4th, y to the 4th, and x cubed, y squared. So what are we going to say about the greatest common factor with that? Let's start with our coefficients. There aren't any. Let's go to our next variable, x to the 5th. Well, it's going to be my lowest x value, which is x cubed. That's common to each term, just like the example above. So my greatest common factor will include x cubed. And then look at the y's, a y cubed, a y to the 4th, a y squared. Y squared is my smallest one. So x cubed, y squared is my greatest common factor to these set of terms.